What's up, everybody, and welcome to Bradenton, Florida. So you can see that now the weeds are taller than the flowers. Take a look at this, guys. This is a brand new community. It's not even on Google Maps yet, and they already got houses in here with roof damage. This one right here is for sale. Bro, whoever mowing this lawn needs to get fired. This is like the model center for their community. Their sprinklers are broken. Whoever mowed the grass apparently had no idea what the crap they were doing. Welcome to this community. It's well maintained. Not really. They made a mess up here, but then they didn't mow the back. Imagine a brand new community and the maintenance is already gone to crap. So whoever's mowing this grass now doesn't know how to maintain their equipment. This is the Edgar haircuts of landscaping jobs. Under most circumstances, whoever did this atrocious landscaping job will get fired. This used to be like a nursery slash farm, and it's abandoned now. I think the county bought the land. Never seen that term before. Agro-tourism. Yeah, buddy. It turns out that in this community, they built the houses. So people bought the houses, and pay attention if you're moving to Florida, because this could happen to you, and this is not a scenario you want to find yourself in. The people bought these houses thinking that the entire community was going to be like $500,000 houses. It used to be part of Mixon Farms. So this was all like groves and stuff like that. The farm that we saw that was abandoned, it used to be mini acreage. It was all orange groves out there. So they knocked down the orange groves and they start building communities. So one of these communities is like really nice houses. They're at least $500,000. Now these people are also paying a pretty hefty HOA fee because it's a gated community. So they buy these houses thinking that the developer is going to continue to build $500,000 houses. Well, the developer sold the houses they could, and then with the land that was left over, they sold it to another developer, and that other developer used the land to build townhomes. Yeah. So when they start building these apartments, the people that live there, they thought, well, they're going to sell condos. Well, it turns out they're not selling them, they're leasing them. And the people that are leasing these condos don't have to pay an HOA because they're renters, they're not buyers. So now the HOA for these 50 houses that sold have to keep up the maintenance for this entire community, even though the developers are now selling part of the land to another developer who's using the land to lease apartments. When the 12 o'clock hour came around, 15 Uber drivers left the airport. We're at the Manatee and Sarasota County line. This is where Bradenton meets Sarasota. And there's a Walmart here. Now this Walmart has a huge homeless population, but the cops chase the homeless people back and forth between one county and the other. So one of my Uber driving strategies when there simply just aren't any passengers is to hang out in this Walmart parking lot, and for some reason or another, someone always needs an Uber ride out of this Walmart. But today, I've been here for about half an hour and I haven't got a single passenger. The problem is that, well, as you can see here, I'm not the only person waiting for people to get a ride out of this parking lot. In fact, if you pay close attention, there's actually people driving around with taxi signs. There's actually homeless people living behind this Walmart. You can see they got their cardboard boxes and some crates here. And because there's so many Uber drivers in an area, when you do get a ride, they're usually just a few minutes away from you. So it's pretty obvious that the economy in Florida is in the toilet right now. And talking about toilets, one of the hardest things about being an Uber driver is finding a place where you can poop comfortably. And this is a great place to do it right here. So let's go in there and enjoy a break. There's a black glove here. Probably somebody overdosed or something. So a while back, they gave the public an opportunity to name a Florida park. And that's what people voted to name this park. You know, I was going to use the bathroom here, but never mind. It's kind of inoperable right now. Imagine why you need a sign like this here. Look at how disastrously maintained this home is. Usually in Florida, if you live in a gated community with an HOA, they would never allow stuff like this. But if you look on the window, you can see there's actually a for rent sign on it. A lot of investors bought houses in Florida just to rent them, and now this is how they're keeping them. Now, on top of your HOA fee, some of these communities also have a CDD, which is basically an assessment from the developer related to building infrastructure, because these used to be orange groves and stuff like that. There was no infrastructure here. So now that they're building houses, they have to assess you for the access to utilities. It goes without saying that the neighbors here can't be too happy about this house being a rental property and, well, the abhorrent condition that it's in. I mean, look at this. What a disaster. But on the bright side, it is within walking distance of the Ron DeSantis Park if you want to enjoy that. There's more than one empty house in this development. And well, you can't forget that the build quality on these newer homes is garbage. Many people complain about trying to get warranty work done when they buy houses, and well, they're pure garbage. They think that they're going to honor these warranties, the builders, but they don't. This isn't exactly a large subdivision. It's actually kind of a smaller one, but there's a lot of abandoned houses in here. Here's yet another community where the property managers are doing a horrific job with the property maintenance. You can see here they cut the grass way too short. They haven't been spraying to kill the weeds. They're building a lot of these warehouses in poor neighborhoods and low-income areas adjacent to like working class neighborhoods. None of the new ones that I've seen are leasing out. They stay vacant. So this is like the new building thing in Florida, where they're building all these brand new warehouses in poor neighborhoods, but when they finish them, they can't lease them. And there's actually like 10 or 20 massive sites around this area between Palmetto and Bradenton where they built these giant warehouses, right? But then they can't lease them. That across the street used to be a motel that closed recently, and well, the only thing you ever got there was hookers, so it really wasn't the classiest place. I assumed when I saw all these massive warehouses being built that they had people ready to lease them, but they don't. This used to be a restaurant here in Onico, but it's been abandoned for a while. It's just being used as a homeless camp late at night. There's nobody here during the daytime, but if you drive through at night, sometimes a lot of homeless people live here. It's closed down now, and well, that's the story of a lot of businesses here in Bradenton. So that building right there is boarded up. That one right there is boarded up. And the restaurant behind us is boarded up, and there's homeless people sleeping behind the gas station. So that's kind of sadly what Bradenton looks like. And here's another guy collecting scrap metal. Do you know with how expensive it is to live in Florida right now to have to pick up scrap metal? The church behind that seems to be abandoned. And then this building here is abandoned. So what's that? 5 or 6 abandoned buildings just at this one intersection in Bradenton. When I moved to Bradenton about 3 years ago, you wouldn't see any vacancy in the city, but now it's just like entire neighborhoods where everything is vacant. A lot of these communities and developments are actually going through staff changes right now. In fact, I just got an email from the community where I currently live in, telling me that they have new staff and a new property management. Some of these Bradenton neighborhoods have been really hard hit by the deportation recession. Grass overgrown, tarp on the roof. This is Kensington Park in Sarasota. This house right here is completely abandoned. You can't even see it anymore. Right here, you got an abandoned car on an empty lot. Take a look at what's going on this street right here, dude. That's crazy. Completely overgrown. So this is Kensington Park. This area had a lot of undocumented people. They've also had a lot of immigration raids in this neighborhood, and you can tell the situation here, it ain't looking too good. It's definitely in bad shape here in Kensington Park. Now this right here used to be like a medical home or an old people's home here in Sarasota, right between Sarasota and Bradenton, and it's abandoned right now. There is a landscaping company here taking care of the property, and it's become somewhat of a homeless shelter. There's a lot of homeless people living here. It's a pretty decent sized area. It's a huge commercial lot, and there are homeless people living here. You can see over there where that green bag is on the ground on the left. That's kind of where the homeless people hang out sometimes. And again, if you don't have workers, you can't run these facilities. And a large percentage of the workers in these places are going to be Haitians and other people who are recent arrivals. And all those people just have their work permits revoked. So right here we have a cop versus homeless. The homeless people use bicycles. In this area, you see a lot of this right here. So they're searching the bicycle, and this is how the homeless people deliver the substances. So this guy here, he's getting searched, and his bicycle is getting searched. And many times this is how the dealers use bicycles to move the work. And there's a lot of homeless people here, and these people are poisoning the homeless people. Sarasota has been working on cleaning up the streets of situations like this. People who are pushing poison to the homeless, usually they're going to be on a bicycle like this guy right here. They'll hide somewhere in there. They're going to hide whatever is illegal, and these are the type of dudes that are going to get arrested for trafficking amounts. They don't have cars, they don't have vehicles. All they're doing, he's being handcuffed right there. I think he's being handcuffed. Let's go take a look. If they found the work on him, he's getting handcuffed. He's handcuffed. He probably had trafficking amount, and they got him. The cops are trying to take the crap off the streets. He's gone. They got him. He had to work. These are the new, I don't know if they're federal or if they're Sarasota County, but they're doing bust all over. These are the guys that are doing the bust. A lot of these, you're good. They're doing all the bust. They're trafficking them out sometimes. So it is what it is, They're out there, doing illegal stuff, and the ones that are selling to the homeless people, dude, it's just, they're poisoning the community. So of course these guys are going to be from the county, and the ones that are from the county, you can't pull body cam footage for these guys, but we can watch them from a safe distance. Whatever they put in the bag, that's the evidence. So that's it right there. That's going to be the evidence right there. He's got to put that away. So whatever the illegal substances were, that's what it is. That's what it is right there, what he's got. Probably going to be I'm going to guess narcotics. That's what these guys do here. But it's just so that's the evidence right there, what he's got. And see what they're putting in evidence, but this community here, it seems like they're very upset about some changes coming to the area. They are very vocal. They do not want their communities rezoned. This little area is in the middle of the urban core, but it's got a very country feel, but probably not for long. All right, so I just had a really crappy Uber passenger. So I picked this woman up out of school. Now, before I picked her up, I had another person at the school, and you have to wait in line to pick up the students, or you can walk a block or two away and get picked up there. Well, she decided to grab her 3 kids and bring them to the intersection in front of the school on a busy highway. And when I pulled up with the Uber, she ran out in front of me on the road, blocking the entrance to the school, and she stopped me and put her kids in the Uber at an intersection. Now, if a law enforcement officer had seen me doing that, I would have got a ticket. I cannot violate traffic regulations.
It's okay, no problem. I understand.
If you want to get a different Uber, you can get a different Uber.
Yeah, I have to do that.
Okay.
Come on, guys, let's go.
We have to take a different. I love pickup truck.
Look, she's waiting. She's gonna wait for another Uber now. This is the line for the school is here. She's gonna take her kids. She's taking her kids to wait for an Uber outside. She's got her kids way over there. That's where the pickup zone is. She's literally putting her kids out by the road. Most people in the United States understand that you cannot bypass school zone parking. Like that's the way school pickup lines work. And a lot of Uber drivers cancel. That's because they don't want to wait. It's a $3 ride, and you got 3 kids that are they're jumping around. She didn't have a car seat for them, nothing. I mean, just are those kids even big enough to where should they have a car seat? I'm not sure. But the issue with undocumented people and people from other countries, and this person's a perfect example, they're individuals who do not want to respect the laws of the United States. They do not want to adapt. They do not want to integrate into the fiber of this country. These are individuals who refuse to acclimate to the United States. They want to live in the United States, but they don't want to respect the customs or laws or even the sensibilities of Americans. Now, here in the United States, schools, and particularly schools, I'm an Uber driver. If I get a ticket at a school, they're going to close my account. As an Uber driver, if I were to get a ticket for violating a school zone type of law, they would close my Uber account. She's asking me to do something that can literally have my job taken away from me. That's what she's wanting me to do. So I'm supposed to risk my occupation for a complete person over a $3 Uber ride? Get the crap out of here, bro. That woman put me in a situation where I could have got my Uber license suspended. If I get a ticket for violating a school zone, driving the wrong way in a school zone, dude, Uber would terminate my account instantly. This is a person who will not ever acclimate. That woman right there is never going to acclimate to the United States. Even her kids were telling her, Mom, but it's a nice truck. We never get an Uber this nice. Her kids wanted to stay in the Uber with me. Those kids felt more safe around me than they did with their own mom. And that's the problem. Individuals like that really do not acclimate, have no intentions to acclimate. Nothing that you tell that woman is going to make her learn how to live in this country accordingly. She's never going to respect the customs of this country. So if you're going to live over here and you're not going to, like me, there's a lot of customs and things about this country that I absolutely dislike. Does that mean that now I'm going to disrespect people? No. It's their, these are the customs of this country, and you have to respect people's customs. And that's not the United States, that's everywhere. Now, that is a small percentage of people that are foreign nationals. Most people that come to the United States understand that it's a different country with different laws and different expectations. And most people that come here learn to acclimate. And if they do something wrong and somebody tells them, hey, you can't do this, then they apologize and they try to acclimate. But individuals like that have absolutely zero intention of acclimating to the United States. In fact, I almost have to make sure that I report her to Uber because she may try to get my account closed. I literally had to turn on my GoPro for this woman, my dash cam, because, well, I figured there was going to be a problem. That's a person that is never going to be fit to live here in the United States. You know, that's a person that needs to go back to wherever they're from because they don't have intentions. And if you tell them, right, not only do they not have intentions to acclimate, but if you try to tell them, like, hey, this is the way you got to do things here, they don't want to hear it. I like to eat beef. I eat beef 3 to 4 times a week. I can't live in India because in India, eating beef is disrespectful. So I know I can't move to India because the things that I like to do and that I have to do are not things in that place that respect. So it's an issue of how you're going to go somewhere if you know that you're not going to respect the customs of those people. It's disrespectful, you know? All right, guys, so this is in Lakewood Ranch. Obviously, you can see the Lakewood Ranch sign behind this guy. When I left the house today at 9 in the morning, this guy was panhandling. It is now 3 in the afternoon and he's still out there. This guy's got to be making $300 to $400 a day. Because he's been so prolific about panhandling, I actually don't think he's homeless. Homeless people can't be out there panhandling all day. They got nowhere to shower. Most homeless people just have to live day by day, so they'll panhandle for an hour or two. Around here, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath is $2,500 a month. You're paying $2,500 a month to have somebody panhandling in front of your house.
Really? They found the only white crew?
Perhaps you've noticed at these off-ramps on 75, they're knocking down all the vegetation in the off-ramps in the middle. And that is mostly because inside of those off-ramps are homeless camps. Now, one thing you gotta know about the Sarasota and Bradenton area is that in the outskirts, Lakewood Ranch, where we are right now, they are still building like crazy, and there really is demand out here for whatever new construction they're building. Now leasing medical office space here in Sarasota. Now open. Some things. How much do you guys think it costs to lease a 1-bedroom apartment here? $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800, $1,900 a month. And that is just before their community fees. So realistically, a 1-bedroom apartment here will run you probably around $2,000 a month. Right across the street from another place that's leasing. But let's suppose you don't like these two options. Well, you could just go across the street where there's hundreds, or you can go over there where there's a few hundred more. I mean, basically, if you want to live in a cubicle of an apartment, you can go there. You can go there. You can go there, there, there. Well, basically anywhere out here. And just look at how wide these sidewalks are. Look at this, guys. But the issue is that most people that are renting in Sarasota are probably going to want to live in a place like this, where there's a Starbucks and a medical clinic and a dental office and a Panera in the parking lot, practically, I guess, with these other places. Many of these inner city neighborhoods that are losing population because of immigration law, it doesn't affect the real estate market here. In fact, we live in one of these type of apartments here in this metropolitan area, and our rent actually went up. They want to jack us up to $2,500 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, forcing us to have to move out. The apartment complex that I'm in right now has been jacking up rents on people like me and Katie and some of our neighbors. In our case, they try to go up nearly $300. Some of our neighbors, they tried going up $500 for those 3 bedrooms. So once they see you've been there for 2 or 3 years, they're like, oh, well, let's jack up the rent. People really thought that deportations were going to make housing more affordable for them. And as you've seen, our apartment complex that we're in now actually jacked up our rent. And it looks like they had to replace some of their staff, probably because the staff is probably tired of having to jack up rents on people that they've been dealing with for years and they don't have a choice. But whatever. Our community looks like they're replacing members of staff. The community in Bradenton, where we started the video, they are also changing their maintenance people. So all this equates to a difficulty in finding people to take care of communities, which equates to worse conditions in the communities, longer waits for services, and in many cases, increase in cost of maintenance, which eventually gets absorbed by the people living in those communities. Now, out here in the outskirts, you're seeing giant warehouses like this being built everywhere. Then there's the hypocrisy of Florida that probably at least half, and that's just being generous, I mean, at least half of the people that are doing road construction and county maintenance are undocumented. So these places like Lakewood Ranch are unincorporated. You've ever asked yourself, why is Lakewood Ranch with over 100,000 people unincorporated? Lehigh Acres has 140,000 people. Why are they unincorporated? Cape Coral's a city, it's one of the few. Why are all these large areas in Florida unincorporated? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Take a look at the side of the road. These are easement contracts that the county has. The county disperses these easement contracts, and their buddies get these contracts and they get kickbacks. Do you think the people downtown in Sarasota and Manatee County are going to lose these lucrative maintenance contracts because all of a sudden now Lakewood Ranch is incorporated? Absolutely not. We're going to go get some fire tacos, and it's supposed to be 2 minutes away. However, we've been at this intersection sitting still now for about 5 minutes. So here in the state of Florida, the counties are holding back their communities. They know that places like Lakewood Ranch need to be incorporated, Lehigh Acres needs to be incorporated, and the list goes on and on. There's places in Florida with over 100,000 people and they're unincorporated, and they're going to continue to be unincorporated because these counties, they don't care about their communities. They are not going to lose their lucrative contracts to help these places become better. It's not going to happen. All these places in Florida have so much potential, but the corruption destroys all of it. This is the only underpass in Sarasota that does not have an exit. What a shame. Let's get fire tacos, guys. So this is the area of Cattleman and Fruitville.
At the light, turn right onto Kathy
And there's
Ross
a
Road.
taco
Then
place
your
here
destination will
that
be on
we
the left.
must check out. Isn't that the best cantaloupe drink you've ever had?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Unbelievable. Bro. This place is freaking awesome. I love their food.
It's all right.
This time of day, navigating through this area is quite literally a absolute nightmare. And this is now in the off season. I mean, it gets worse. It gets way worse. Oh well, Poppy.
Oh, well.
You fell asleep, too bad. Next time, don't fall asleep. So, in all these off-ramps, they've been clearing them because there were homeless people living all through here. You can see the one over there. There's just the tree stumps there by the interstate. All that were homeless. So all these off-ramps had wooded areas in the middle, and there were like people living in them. So in the Tampa Bay area, they've gone through like they're doing here, and they're just clearing all these off-ramps, getting rid of all the natural vegetation, and putting in like decorative palm trees. It looks like a beautification project, but it's really an effort to get rid of the homeless people that were living in here. Like in here, if you look carefully, I got to get in here in the next few days and explore these woods before they knock them down. But all through here, all these wooded areas were nothing but homeless camps all through here. I mean, there's like tents in there and needles everywhere and all types of goodies that the homeless people had dragged into the interstate. We'll see how bad traffic is on Interstate 75. 5 o'clock heading northbound. Sarasota is notorious for having horrific commutes, and well, we're in the thick of the action. They also cleared the side here, and probably the real reason that the state of Florida is doing this is because of the amount of homeless camps that there were. I exposed the story about that whole situation, and ever since it's been a problem. So this is what it used to look like here. It used to be a nice wooded tree line, but because there's so many homeless people living in the tree line, you may not see it from the highway. If you could see it from the highway, they wouldn't be hiding. And that's what people don't get about homelessness in Florida. The thing about homelessness in Florida is they have to hide, okay? If the police catches them, they get arrested just for being homeless in Florida. This is the Highway 70 exit, and there were homeless people living in the median here, quite a few. We might even see some panhandlers when we get off. But here they're in the process now of a beautification process. They're knocking down the wooded areas, the medians, and installing palm trees and stuff. It looks like a beautification project, but in reality, it's a way to get rid of the homeless camps that were in the middle of the median here.